Hey guys, this is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with some daily analysis. Today is Monday, the 9th of May 2016, and the time is 13:08 here in the UK. You're looking at a EURUSD daily chart. In today's analysis, I'm going to be going through most of the pairs here on this list to the right, and I'm going to be looking at each and every time frame for those pairs. Now, before we get started with the analysis, I want to say a few things. First, I've been away for about 3.5 weeks. Why have I been away? I was on holiday. I got a lot of emails saying, Nick, where's the analysis? Nick, I don't really like, I'm a private person. I don't really like to tell people my holiday plans. I mean, of course, I tell advanced course members, VIP members when I'm planning to go on holiday because I don't just disappear on them. But on my blog, on the public blog, I don't really say, much about my personal life and when I'm off on holiday and stuff like that. I went off on holiday to Italy, a few weeks ago. Then I got back and I was here for about 4 or 5 days. And then I had to go off to Cambridge to meet a few friends. And I was there for another 4 or 5 days. So I haven't really had much of a chance to trade. And I've definitely not had a chance to do analysis. So this is the first analysis in quite a few weeks. But I will be doing analysis every day this week. And going forward, I'll be doing analysis pretty much every day until, sometime around July, I think. I'm going to Belgium to visit my girlfriend's family. Or maybe early August. We haven't got the dates yet. I'm going to be back to doing things normally. And also, it's so late, the podcast. I promised a podcast on trading psychology. I promised it, a while back now. I'm sorry, guys, but it still is coming. And I'm going to be working on that now that I'm back to stay at home for at least a few months before I have to go on holiday again. Okay, so let's get started with today's analysis. Now, a little bit about how this analysis works. You're going to see a lot of weird timeframes up here on this list. Now, the only timeframes I actually trade are the 3-hour, the 4-hour, the 6-hour, the 8-hour, the 12-hour, and the daily. The other timeframes up here, the 9-hour, 10-hour, 11-hour, and the 5-hour, and the 7-hour, they're there just for analysis purposes. They help me to read price action because the more you split up price action into different candles and different timeframes, the better idea you have of what price is doing in a specific area. So these other timeframes here, they're just there to aid me in reading price action. The only ones I actually trade are the 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and daily. All my support resistance areas here are drawn on the 12-hour and the daily charts. So I switch between the two to draw my support resistance areas, but I then use those support resistance areas to trade all the timeframes I trade. In this analysis, we're just going to be going through, let me close Steam because it keeps popping up. In this analysis, I'm going to be going through almost every pair on this list, except some of the ones I don't actually trade, like, for example, Euro NOK and stuff like that. I'll be going through most of the pairs on my watch list, and we'll be looking at each and every time frame for those pairs, and we'll be scanning for price action setups. Today is Monday. Monday is generally a slow day for me. So is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are my main trading days. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see anything today in the analysis, but that doesn't matter. I still do the analysis anyway because it's part of my process, my daily process. I go through all my pairs every time frame several times a day and I scan for price action setups. It's just part of it. It's just the way I do things because if you develop a daily process and you keep doing that and doing that and doing that, you kind of get into the habit of doing it. And then if you're checking your charts several times a day, every pair, every single time frame, several times per day, it ensures that you very rarely miss a trade. So let's get started. Now, I haven't done any analysis today, myself before this because I just got back. I just got off the train like 30 minutes ago, caught a cab home, and I'm kind of excited to get back into trading. So this is the first thing I'm doing. Let's get started. So EURUSD, what are we seeing on EURUSD? Reversal, but it's not a tradable reversal. And even if it were a tradable reversal, it's a bit too late. So EURUSD is reversing, it's pushing down. We might need to adjust some of these support resistance areas because these support resistance areas are a little old right now. I will possibly move these around. I'll check them out later, but they still look pretty decent. Just at a quick glance, they still look pretty decent. Yeah, I think these support resistance areas are still fine. There's nothing really tradable here on EURUSD. Let's go to GBPUSD. Ooh, okay. Okay, GBPUSD. That's a bit early in the week to start showing me some potential trades. But thank you. Ooh, okay, so this one, I'm not sure if I would have entered. It's a bit late now because it's already spiked up. But it has retraced, so there is potential for an entry. So let's take a look at this real quick. I just wanted to look at all the time frames and get a feel for what price is doing down here. And that feel tells me that price is definitely stalling down here. I'm going to quickly check news releases. Oops, I closed that. Quickly check news releases. I want to see if it was a news release that caused that spike up. See this spike here that pushed up? It was more visible on the 4 hour, or maybe well, yeah, this one. See how this candle spiked up? I want to see what was the cause of that. So I'm going to quickly check. It doesn't really matter that much. News releases are something that, unless they're very important news releases, I'm never really too bothered about them. But I still want to just kind of get an idea of what happened there, what caused that spike. It'll just give me some more information, or what caused it to fall back down also would be nice to know. All right. Well, there's no visible news that would have caused this, so it's just a normal market movement, which is nice. Okay, so we're looking at this on the 12 hour. Now, what's happened here? We've had, damn it. When I'm away, I have my my little Surface Pro. It's like a little laptop, mini laptop type thing. And the mouse I have with that, the sensitivity is much lower. So now I'm trying to get used to this faster mouse. And it means I keep clicking the wrong buttons everywhere. Okay, so we had a nice, kind of strong bearish preceding trend heading into an area of support. This area of support was showing support really early in this trend. I mean, from here on out, it just kind of like, it took a long time for sellers to break through. And then when they finally broke through, we got this nice little indecision candle on the 12 hour. 12 hour indecision is pretty significant because that's a whole 12 hour candle. So that's an entire 12 hours where price was stalled and buyers start to look like they've taken control. Then comes the next 12 hour candle and it spikes up quite significantly. Now, if we look at this on the daily, we've only got one indecision candle. Doesn't look quite as good. On the 12 hour, it spiked up and then it's fallen back down. Now, my concerns with this trade, because when I look at a potential trade, the first things that run through my head are, what could go wrong? What are the bad points of this trade? What can I see that might potentially get in the way of this trade? And if I find enough of those, I have like a list on paper that I check every trade against. If I can find enough of those, then I sometimes skip the trade. So what have we got with this one? This here. So price stalled a little bit above the support area. So it's quite clear that this is very strong support. There's support not only in this area I have designated, the support is like all the way kind of like that, It's a whole massive area of support. And now price is stuck inside that area of support. It tried to push back up through it, but it stalled and it came back down. So that's not really a good sign. If I were in this trade right now, I wouldn't be freaking out. I wouldn't be worried. I'd still hold the trade. But, I would start saying to myself, I've entered this trade because I wanted to enter a long trade. I wanted to buy with the buyers, but the buyers clearly aren't buying. They're still stalling. Price is still stalling in this support area. Now, it's definitely you know, it definitely wouldn't be time to exit if you were already in the trade. But do I want to enter right now? I'm not sure. I'm going to see how this plays out on the daily. I want to see what happens after the daily candle closes. If the next candle starts pushing up, I might consider an entry. But right now, it looks like price is still pretty stalled here. And it doesn't look like we're going to get much movement. The best situation here would probably be if tomorrow's daily candle, Tuesday's daily candle, ends up as indecision again. So we get a full day of stalling on Tuesday where price stalls and we get a nice indecision candle. And that would give us, you know, a nice stop loss and entry point. But I'm not really tempted to jump in right now. I might have entered on the 12-hour. If I was here, I might have entered long already. Probably not, though. I still would have been worried about this bunch of support here that could have turned into resistance. All right, so the daily chart, I want to see the close here. I want to see what happens here. I don't want to jump in based on the 12-hour chart, and I don't think I would have jumped in based on the 12-hour chart. So yeah, let's just leave this one. Let's see how it develops. Let's see what it looks like at the close of the daily candle. Hopefully we get some more indecision here on Tuesday, and that way we can potentially enter this trade. All right, let's check out AUD/USD. It's heading into an area of support, but it looks like a pretty strong bearish movement. And we're not seeing any indecision, so there's not much we could do here. Continuation might not even be a bad idea, but I'm not really trading continuations actively yet. Or breakout trades, which some people call them. Breakout trades, continuations, I mean, they can be viewed as the same thing, depending on how you view price action. But I call them continuations. The continuation being the continuation of the actual trend. So we got a pretty clear bearish trend. And it's perked back up for a little bit, but now it's breaking through the support area, so that would be a continuation. But I don't really take these kind of trades right now. I'm looking to start trading them again this year, but you know, I like to do these things slowly. And reversal trades, I'm getting more than enough of them, and I'm profitable enough with reversal trades that I'm not in too much of a rush to implement continuation trading. So there's nothing really on AUD/USD. Let's check out USD CAD. All right, so it's on an area of resistance, but it's not really doing that much. All right, New Zealand USD, it's broken through an area of support, so we're probably not going to see any potential for a trade here. Yep, USDJPY. Ooh, look where that is. Let's check it out on the daily. It's a pretty strong area of resistance. I mean, when you look at this area of resistance, right, when it was support here, it had a double bounce and then it reversed quite significantly before it broke through with that very strong move. But even with this very strong move, this is what I think when I'm looking at price action. You know, I like to look at all the candles, and I like to kind of try and figure out why price is stalling there and if price might stall there again. So looking at this, right, what's happened? Price pushed down to here, came away, pushed down again, made another attempt, and it got reversed. Then we got this really strong move, but where did it stall? It stalled right here for a whole other candle. That's a whole 12 hours where price stalled here. And it tried to get back up, but sellers were too strong. I mean, that big bearish candle, that's probably one of the biggest candles USDJPY has had all year. It was, you know, the biggest sell move in a 12-hour period that we've seen all year, probably. Not 100%, but yeah, look. There's nothing as big as that. So we had this very strong bearish move, but even this very strong move stalled at this area of support. So, it's quite clear that there's support resistance here. Then price has come back down, it's stalled here, reversed, and now it's here again. We're not really seeing signs of it stalling on the higher time frames yet, but it's still early days, it's just in the area. Point is, it is at a strong area of resistance, or at least an area that acted as strong support. So now it could be an area of resistance. On the 3 hour, we're seeing signs of it stalling, but the 3 hour is not really that significant. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this on the 12 hour and the daily, maybe even the 8 hour. I'm gonna see what happens here. I'm gonna see if price stalls here because I would be very interested in taking a short trade here if we see signs of price stalling and reversing. What were we up to? GBPUSD. Yeah, not much happening here. GBPUSD has been pretty bad this year. Not being much of anything happening. Nothing tradable for me. Maybe I took 1 or 2 trades from it, but I can't really remember. But all the JPY pairs except for USDJPY have been pretty boring. Actually, AUDJPY, come to think of it, has been okay this year. Sorry if there's lots of noise from cars passing by. I have my my front windows open because it is very hot today. All right, nothing much on AUDJPY. Let's look at USDCHF. No, nothing there. Euro AUD real quick. Nothing there. Euro GBP. These pairs I don't trade that often. GBP AUD. Okay, so nothing much going on those pairs. That is the analysis for today. I'm just going to review GBPUSD and USDJPY real quick. So GBPUSD, there is a potential trade forming here. It's very, very clear that price is stalling on top of this support area, and it is a strong support area. It held as resistance very, very well here. 1 bounce, or actually 1 bounce before that. So 2 bounces, 3 bounces, and price stalled as it tried to break through here. So it held as resistance very well. Now it looks like it might hold as support. It's definitely holding the sellers back right now. Sellers are stalling here. We're getting a nice indecision candle forming. I might even trade this indecision candle here on the daily, but it probably won't happen just because the risk to reward ratio is going to be very, very tough to get to 1 to 2. But it could be done potentially if I get into a retrace entry. So I might even trade this indecision candle that's forming right now. So I might take the trade on Tuesday. I just want to see how things shape up. I want to keep a close eye on it and see how things shape up. So yeah, GBPUSD, definite potential for a long trade here. I'm going to keep a very close eye on this. USDJPY, nothing to get terribly excited over right now, but it is at a very strong area of resistance. And if I see sellers stalling, because we're already seeing signs of sellers stalling on the smaller time frames, but if we start seeing signs of sellers stalling on the higher time frames, that could be a very good indication that price is going to reverse. So I'm going to keep a very close eye on USDJPY and see how things develop on the higher time frames like the 8 hour, 12 hour and daily. But other than that, nothing much is happening, which is pretty normal for a Monday. Mondays are usually slow. But do keep a close eye on GBPUSD and USDJPY. If I do actually enter these trades, I'll try to update my blog. I'll try to make another post with information on how I'm planning to take the trade. But I'm also going to be doing that on Twitter and on TradingView itself. TradingView is my charting platform. not my trading platform, just my charting platform, and you can publish ideas and stuff to TradingView. So I will be publishing, details on these trades. If I do enter them, I'll be publishing my entry, my stop loss, and all that kind of stuff. Do follow me on TradingView and on Twitter. My Twitter name is @ForexForNoobs. My TradingView name is, I think, forexfornoobs.com. I'm not really sure how to follow people on TradingView, but I'm sure if you sign up to TradingView, you can find out. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the analysis, and I will see you for tomorrow's analysis. And keep in mind, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are the main trading days. So the best analysis is usually gonna happen on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's when we're gonna find the most trades. So definitely tune in for the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday analysis. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.